When spouses crave intimacy without taking care of each other's needs, intimacy becomes undesirable to both parties. So, how can couples begin to pay attention to each other's needs? For example, you have couples saying they aren't quite intimate with each other for like a couple months, for almost 6 months, 12 months, or even years, basically. So, how
Very
do you
good
address that?
question. Mm. I often tell men, women make love emotionally and men make love more physically. One needs to understand what that means. I don't know how, of course, this is Allah's divine design, but He has wired women to have so much jagwala jagwala going on in their brains. They're thinking of the kids, they're thinking of the next meal, they're thinking of organizing and being like mother hen. And, even a small argument or a disagreement will be in the back of one's mind and the engine will be rolling, thinking about it, stewing about it. Even the look, if you didn't look at me correctly, I will overthink it. For men, they can separate intimacy from the relationship. It's like intimacy. We can fight now, but that doesn't mean I can't be intimate with you. So I think it's about, being able to meet each other and recognize this is how we've been created. I love the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus by John Gray, because it really helps one understand, how different we really are, but how to find that middle ground. I can give you an example of a friend of my brother's, because my brother just said me about this. He visited the guy and the wife served them, dinner. And after the meal, my brother took his plate and was about to go to the kitchen, clear the table. And his friend is like, no, leave that. It's like, it's foreplay. So that emotional deposit in her emotional bank account of doing an act of service, an act of kindness, being helpful is part of preparing, it's part of what seals the bond between you and your spouse. So you need to understand it's not just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, it's time for intimacy. No, it's a build-up for the woman. But the woman also needs to be considerate the fact that the men's needs are much greater. They separate these things, whereas for us, everything is intertwined. So because it's disconnected, she needs to also know that he has needs and he has wants and fantasies, just as she has. But that's why it has to be a true partnership, because she needs to know that if she does not fulfill her man's needs and wants and fantasies, if you're not careful, you're going to open the door wide for him to look for outside fulfillment, which is such a reality today in so many homes. But the women today that reach out to me and are unsatisfied because their spouse is not romantic or doesn't get it, it's just like a physical, it's just a chore, just like an exercise or washing the dishes. Intimacy becomes like that, just a routine. Oh, well, I've checked it off on my to-do list. I've done that. There needs to be more discussions. What pleases you? What do you enjoy? What are your fantasies? That's why communication is so key, where you find the right time to raise these issues and you get to know each other's needs, wants, and fantasies, and you fulfill them. Because again, today we're dealing with a lot of women who are not satisfied in the homes. They're married, and then there's so much infidelity from both sides. And it's wallahi, it is getting worse. Just yesterday night, my husband and I were talking about this, how so many messages keep coming through. And sometimes it's the woman saying, my boss is flirting with me and my husband isn't satisfying me, and my boss is finding me attractive. My boss sees my expressions that something is bothering me and is saying, what's on your mind? You look sad today. Somebody is noticing those things, which your spouse is supposed to be the one-stop shop for all your needs, all your emotional needs, your physical needs, your intimacy needs. Like, you both need to be there and present for each other. And, you need to be your spouse's cheerleader, because again, for women, you're making love to me if you got my back, if you encourage me, if you validate me, if you make me feel wanted, that I matter, that I'm important to you. So these are all things that one needs to work on. But again, go back to the drawing board. If your relationship is bankrupt of romanticism and, true intimacy, not just physical, but emotional intimacy, then you need to reconnect. I often tell the guys, you need to reconnect with your spouse on an intimate level, on an emotional level. And wallahi, what you call intimacy, the physical intimacy, will be on another level once the woman is truly involved and present and feels, we're both doing this for mutual satisfaction and fulfillment.